MarketChameleon.com. I'm Adam. That's Will. What's up, brother?
I'm going to throw a Game of Thrones
Don't you
spoiler out
dare.
there.
Don't you dare. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't. I'm avoiding all spoiler alerts. So, Will, please no spoilers, my friend.
You don't want to know what's happening? I
do not want to know. I do not want to know. All I see on my Twitter is every time I see it, I scroll real fast because I see pictures of what's the girl with her little sword. So I try to avoid it. I know she did something, and I don't want to know what.
Oh man. All I can say, it's life changing.
Ah, jeez. All right, brother. What do you got for us today, man?
You put the disclaimer up.
Oh, you with your disclaimers, man. All right, I'll share my. Well, you got to stop sharing your screen, dude. Remember,
like Game of Thrones, it is completely risky out there.
It is risky. Here, I'll share it, and then I'll do this. There we go, everybody. There's the disclaimer. Remember, it is risky. Option trading, all trading is risky. You got to do your research. That's what the Chameleon is for. But we are absolutely not telling you what to trade, what to do. We're not doing that. So, what do you got for us today, brother?
Nothing. Literally nothing. I've got a real bad sickness. It's overcome the family. Apple earnings came out. Remember, they were telling us to buy the at-the-money calls and hold them for a week yesterday.
Yep.
So it looks like that probably turned into a pretty good trade, up 5% pre-market. We'll see where it goes. I think you were supposed to hold it for 6 days. I looked at Apple with following through. Did a quick scan for a bullish market, credit put spreads, and there are a lot of Apple opportunities if you want to get into the Apple after this.
Dude, seriously, how many bad earnings did we have? We had like a handful. Everybody is doing well. It's amazing.
It seems like a pretty good earnings. You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
I mean, the bad earnings was Google, and Google, it wasn't like it was, it was some people reading into their ad dollars and how their ad dollars are working. I read some stuff that it seemed to have a lot to do with YouTube and a redo of the YouTube or the search algorithm. Who knows, man?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of investors are also fed up, maybe a strong commentary, but are upset with the clarity that Google presents. I mean, you have no idea what YouTube adds or takes away in capital. They're not as forthright as the other entities. So
yeah,
I think that may be part of it. At least listen, the talking heads they've had on that, a few of the talking heads made that commentary.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't Google, they're just trying to protect, they don't want people to know where the money is. I mean, I know that scares investors, but they're trying to keep away their competition, right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, right now it's got an 8 PE.
It's incredible, honestly. It's incredible. It's my favorite company on earth right now.
Yeah, are you putting the Costa Rican McBride?
Let's just say we're dumping funds into Google. Yes, Google is a buy on my book, man. I'm absolutely not telling you what to buy, but you just look at it. I just look at it. They got their toes in a couple of really interesting spaces. They're still super dominant. My concern is government intervention with Google, but you got to love the products and what they're doing. It's incredible, but we'll see.
We will see. Well, here you go. Some scans. There are a lot of opportunities for bullish put spreads if you're interested in getting long Google here. The next thing I was looking at, infrastructure bill. It looks like it's going to pass sometime in the near future. That being said, it's a long window before all monies will be spent if they do get it out there. But you can start putting together some ideas. I was looking at some, actually, and maybe a Chameleon out there can come back. I will send a cup. We had talked about a rebar manufacturer. I don't know if you remember
the rebar play, man. Remember?
We did, and we were, and I, for the life of me, I can't.
You can't remember the company?
Can't remember the company.
Put it out there, Chameleons. Anybody who remembers that company, pop it to us in the chat. We'll send you a free Chameleon cup for that valuable info.
But anyways, Allegheny Technologies. I was looking at some of the. I was looking at rebar manufacture and steel and pipe and that type of thing. And That was one that popped up. But Caterpillar's a pure play, right?
Sure.
It's well off its 52-week high. Looked at credit put spreads in there, and there are a lot of plays in Caterpillar if you want to get long for the next 60 days with theoretical edge, win rates, downside.
So what's happening? So you say the U.S. is there's some, they've been talking about these construction bills for seems like 10 decades. We got to rebuild the roads. Is that what they're doing again?
Yes. Roads.
We got to rebuild the roads. Will, it's
bridges,
crumbling infrastructure.
Bridges.
Crumbling. I've heard that for literally 30 years. It's crumbling.
Well, it is. But most
what does that mean, dude? Really? It's really crumbling? What is that?
Anyone who has a house realizes that, if you're not maintaining it, it starts to crumble.
It starts to crumble.
It is what it, I mean, listen, what they're trying to do is patch it, right? You look, and the Northeast is a perfect example because you have roads that were built in the 40s and 50s and bridges, and they're just antiquated, and they're not meant for today's volume, and the roads are a patchwork of pothole fixes. So it's and they are doing infrastructure.
Can you imagine some of these bridges, man? Can you imagine the amount of like EPA approval and all that sort of stuff? Some of the stuff, what a bridge that cost $10 million in 1962 is going to cost $8 billion today. I mean, you can imagine.
It is hundreds of millions of dollars for sure. I've been involved where I live with 2 bridges going up, and they are big projects. But I'll tell you, when they're done, they do positively affect the flow of traffic. So take it for what it is. It's could be an opportunity for some of these stocks that have been really just no big pops. It could be beneficial. So do your research, build and I'm going to look at my own.
You're going to start building a list.
I'm going to
share that list with us, my friend, because a lot of people looking for lists.
People do like their lists. You're right.
Yeah.
Here's a list for you. I thought, was this it? Commercial Metals Company?
It might be. I can't remember.
I was looking at it. This P of 52. Something seems wrong with that. Dividend yield at 2.5%. But I remember it had a real reasonable yield. And anyways, come back to me with that, Chameleons. I'd love to know that large rebar play. The next thing I was looking at today was event-driven historical insights. This is under stocks right here, event-driven insights. Today's the FOMC meeting. I wanted to see, we didn't look at it. Typically, you want to start looking at this, 2 weeks prior to try to find opportunities. I just looked, given a quick shot today, looking at the time frame to start, number of observations, at least 10, win rates above 80%, average return plus 1%. And
got some.
There are a lot of opportunities to take a look at some stocks that have benefited, win rates in the 80s. So
click that win rate thing. Let's see what the highest win rate is there. Let's filter those bad boys. Click it again. 92%. All right.
Joint Corp. Hospital. I mean, this is the crazy, this is the interesting thing, right? It's like pro shares, ultra short euro.
Oh man.
The opposite of snap. So this is this is an MLP. I mean, this is
the opposite of snap. It does. It allows you to not connect with your friends. That's the new app, dude. It's the snump.
Well, I mean, and I forget. I would never be able to pronounce. I mean, this guy was so smart. He was on CNBC yesterday. They've been in Silicon Valley all week, and his firm, you can look it up, is Social Capital.
Mm-hmm.
And he made his fortune in Facebook. He was, an early employee, and then went out and invested in lots of companies. And he's like, I refuse to have my children have iPads or cell phones, and they will never be on a social net, and it's just, I mean, this guy's worth, almost $2 billion, owns the Golden State Warriors. It's so hypocritical that, I mean, it's almost like being a drug dealer. or selling Oxycontin,
totally,
right?
Absolutely,
And
man.
then
100%.
saying it's all bad after
This is terrible. This is the worst thing to happen in our society in 200 years.
Yeah. No,
but
I
I'm
mean,
an investor.
I mean, he had some great insight into Tesla, was very bullish Tesla, and, you know, very interesting insight into, and super bright guy. But I just thought to myself, that's like terrible. It's almost
morally,
like
that's morally wrong, man. Morally
it
wrong.
is, right?
You are so against the product that you won't allow your family members to use it. You know, that guy needs to look at his morals, man. The guy needs some character.
And he's still making money in the tech space. And, you know, a lot of the tech space is funded by this stuff, you know, this. And he's
That's
like,
awesome. I love that. That makes me laugh today. That makes me laugh.
It's really interesting. Really interesting. And I'm not a big user of the social platforms. And I do believe, you know, anything, you know, like that could actually add to a negative mental state, whatever. But, you know, you have a choice, you know, to do it or not do it, just like everything else. I just thought the fact that this guy's fortune
was built upon that.
Yeah, was literally built upon it. And now he's like, you know, and he's not given a solution other than saying my kids won't do it, right? And you have unlimited capital. I mean, it's you know, it's harder, it's easier for a poor person who was given a, you know, a pad, an iPad from the school, the kids use it, you know, the child's on it,
right?
To, you know, give it to him for, you know, a learning vehicle, and they may, you know, it just seems like not to have a solution, but to just throw that out there was just pretty incredible. I'll try to bring the video on. It's amazing that they didn't just really question him on it.
And no questions, right? It's like, you know, well, that's part of the thing now. It's kind of like, oh, I don't have a TV. Back in the old days, you know, it was like, I don't have a TV. You know, I'm not really believing in TV. You know, I don't have a TV. Like, it was like a humble brag, right? And now it's like, you know, I don't let my kids use any technology like that. You know, we're like, when we're at home, we're a holistic family, and we don't use electronics. It's like just a humble brag, dude. It's like, shut up, man.
Ooh,
Especially, please shut the heck up when you are like an deep investor in the space. I mean, you've made fortunes on it. Give me a break, man. Be quiet, dude.
Did you just? I mean, I'd never heard that. That's referred to as a humble brag.
Totally, man. That's
hashtag humble brag. I'll send you the videos. We'll get your analysis on it tomorrow. It was interesting. All right, earnings this week. Remember, it's a huge week. Tomorrow is the biggest day of the week.
Oh, it's great, man.
While scrolling down, one that popped up in me. I could have sworn it popped up. Oh, there it is. Activision. You can see I have it. I think it's in one of my gaming stocks.
Sure.
But this stock is, when we first started looking at it, it was, I think, near these highs. It has been decimated. You see, you know, I don't know. What do you think? Any ideas?
Well, I mean, not particularly on Activision, although now I've done more research. It's like people are loving what Activision's doing as far as moving into the whole like live event space. They say Activision's doing the best job of that. It's just tough. I would really be hesitant to say you're going to be able to pick the winner or the loser.
Well, here's the great thing. You can use options to play it from, you know, I'm looking at these credit put spreads. I was thinking to play it from the long side, basically just looking at, you know, what's happened through this earnings cycle for most of the people in the market, but it actually showed up in the earnings option strategy detected 4 of the last 5, 80% winning occurrences, and 5 of 5, 100%.
Yeah.
These are your returns. So I just screened for credit put spreads, and there are a lot to look at. So just a little shout out to the community. You may want to look at some ATVI.
How's EA doing? Haven't looked at EA in a while because I mean, remember they had the launch of the game, and it went really big, and I see that thing is almost just died on the vine. It's pretty incredible. The way people aren't playing that game anymore. It lasted, the hype lasted about a month, and it is completely gone. It's amazing. What do we got?
Well, it reports May 7th. Let's see the earnings option strategies. Call butterfly spread credit. So you could look at some credit put spreads here as well. Call butterfly spread, iron butterfly. I mean, there are some cool butterflies out there.
You love your butterflies, man. Do you ever lose money on butterflies?
A lot of things to look at in EA. I mean, again, like Activision, it's well off its highs.
Yep.
But
it got super low in December. It had the pop after they released Apex Legends right at the start of January.
It kind of settled down.
Settled down. That game, just, I mean, head on a swivel. If you're not a gamer in the space, that game that they were, I think, really hoping would do something as a legitimate challenge to Fortnite, I pretty much did not happen. I mean, they really pushed it. They had a lot of promotion. Apparently paid several big gamers big money to actually play the game when it came out, and they had a huge buy-in, and then those guys stopped playing or whatever, and it just whoosh, fizzled, ghost, smoke, gone. Incredible.
So there are a lot of credit put spreads to look at to take advantage of a bullish move.
Do I see Pinterest up there? You got Pinterest? Yeah,
well, I was just looking. I haven't been, it takes a while for the data to actually populate. But, the options are trading, right? They've been trading the last couple days. So just start keeping an eye. There's some somewhat wide markets.
And when's I see Lyft up there. When's Uber?
I was looking at Lyft is, so far off its highs, $30. Yeah. I was just looking at this. I know I'm going to get commentary from Mike, who always likes when I look at the risk reversals, but this, you can put it on with a $7 credit, the furthest out. I don't know. I mean, it's the commentary. I think if I'm taking a flyer on any tech stocks, it's got to be
Mr. Tesla. Yeah. I mean, I certainly like Tesla. I mean, you just look at it from a perspective of vision, and the vision of Lyft is, we're there for our drivers. We're partnering with our drivers. We're creating a great community.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the wrong vision. I'm just telling you right now, that is the wrong vision.
Ultimately, you're a taxi company paying people. I mean, here's the rub, right?
Drive around. It's insane when you can have a computer drive people around. It makes no sense.
You're using money. You're using money to acquire customers. That's the rub with Lyft and Uber. They're losing on every ride. So how long can that exist? It's hard, for something that like Google, when we had the internet revolution in the late 90s, early 2000s, those companies were literally revolutionizing the way things were done.
Right.
Yes, you're now using an app to call a car, and you can see the car come to your house. It is different than calling a taxi, but it's also very similar. And you're paying huge acquisition costs for everyone to put that on their phone and use it. Your one rub, and which I told you the other day, certainly where I am, it's not inexpensive to do it. So when
that was surprising. That was surprising.
And that could happen everywhere. And it could happen with, Amazon's delivery. I mean, it could happen with Amazon Prime. So lots of things to look at. But Tesla, and it was this.
But just to get back to that Lyft, my point on Lyft was, their idea of relationships with drivers, in my view, is the wrong view, man. I mean, it's the wrong vision. Tesla's vision of no driver, the car drives itself. I mean, I am more confident in that than like anything else in my life. I mean, I'm completely confident.
Well, that was the one thing that this Silicon Valley investor was saying. I mean, and honestly, and it may be, I mean, I've described this, and I'm sure it's a mental condition, but once you have focused on something, you tend to see a lot more of it. Like when I had my first child, all of a sudden I saw strollers everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think I may have used this analogy before, but now I see Teslas everywhere. Literally everywhere there are Teslas. And what this founder of Social Capital was saying yesterday, which is his investment arm, is he was like, you get into a Tesla and driving, ownership of a vehicle has changed for you forever. And, you know, those type of companies, and, you know, the interviewer was like, well, there are other electric car companies out there. And he's like, this company has already created their brand, right? It's like, you're not going to be able to create another Tesla. You know, if someone wants an electric car, they're getting a Tesla. And you're right. If you could own a Tesla and rent it out, you know, that becomes interesting as well. So there are lots of interesting things that could go on.
Well, of course, whether or not Tesla's going to be able to do that or not is a big question. It's a big if, right? There's absolutely no data for us to say that they can actually do that, right? So, you know, I think they probably can, because I think Elon's probably the best CEO in the world, but whether or not they can, that might be a different story.
And he's been able to pull off amazing things.
Yep.
You know, very few people can do what he's done.
Yep.
I mean, he may be the only one in 100, you know, he's generational type.
I mean, but you think about it, and you think about where Uber's moving, where Lyft. I mean, forget Lyft. I mean, you see it in the stock price. People are like, wait, what is this company doing? Why are they doing this? It doesn't make sense, their vision of the future. Tesla's actually makes sense. Actually, you look at Tesla compared to Uber, what Uber's trying to do is actually what Tesla's already doing, which it's the kind of idea of having your own fleet. In theory, that's what Tesla already has, right? That's what Elon was selling at the last meeting. He's like, look, every Tesla that rolls off the line now is part of our fleet. As long as the person wants to turn it on, it's on. And once they get the self-driving thing down, these things are going to be able to drive around and pick up people and drop them off and basically run this taxi system.
I mean, for God's sakes, the man launched a rocket and
it landed on a pad in the middle of the ocean, people. Dude, I've said it. How many decades would that have taken NASA to do? It would have taken 100 decades and $85 quadrillion for NASA to do that.
Probably wasn't even on the radar.
Impossible.
Probably not even on the radar. All right. Man. Well, there you go. That's our show today. Bye-bye. Signing off.
That's it, man. That's good stuff, dude. Love the Tesla, man. Love it. Everybody be careful out there. Option trading is risky. Oh, man. Don't take our advice, brother. Don't buy Tesla. What are you doing, man? Are you into Tesla?
Well, I'm starting to look at some spreads, yes.
Good for you, man. Invest wisely. All right, everybody. Have a great day trading. Stay safe out there. And follow us on Twitter, man. Hit me up. I'm gonna be at the waterfront soon enough. Maybe go grab a coffee, go for a little run. What do you think, brother?
What about this Instagram thing? How's this work? Is this a social network? I'm not mentally. I don't know if I can handle it.
I'm telling you, what you should be doing, Will, is you should be actually broadcasting live as you try to figure out Instagram, man.
Now, I did notice we got followed by someone. Do I follow him back or just blow him off?
We don't need to follow back. We're a business. Right. We don't necessarily need to follow back, but we do need to engage. So if people talk to us, you talk back to them.
I think trader. Are you the one talking back? Someone was like, I use MarketChameleon for all my data resources. They're my go-to data.
Well, if you missed out yesterday, I said, hey, be one of the first 20. We're already past 20. So, you know, you guys missed the boat, man. You missed the boat.
I saw Bolin was one of the 20. A couple of cuppers. Mike.
Yep. Hit us up, baby.
What's up, chameleons? Thanks.
The Market Chameleon on Instagram. We're doing it, man. All right. Have a great day trading, everybody.
Stay safe.